Hi, friends. It's Mrs. McCarver, and it's time for today's Read Aloud. Today, we're going to start a new book. The title of this book is Aunt Flossie's Hats and Crab Cakes Later. What do you notice about the cover, the picture on the cover, and the title? I noticed in the title, Aunt Flossie's Hats and Crab Cakes Later, it said something about hats. And when I look at the picture, I see three people all wearing hats. There's even another hat in this lady's lap. That's a lot of hats. I'm also noticing that these hats are kind of fancy looking. They're not necessarily hats that you might wear every day. I wonder whose hats these all are. Today we're going to start this story and find out whose hats they are. The author of this book is Elizabeth Fitzgerald Howard. She wrote the words. And then it says paintings by James Ransom. That means the illustrator used paint to create the pictures in this book. That's a little different than some other illustrators. Aunt Flossie's Hats and Crab Cakes Later. When I look at the title page, I'm seeing a row of houses that are all connected. I wonder who lives there. On Sunday afternoons, Sarah and I go to visit Great Aunt Flossie. Ooh, Great Aunt Flossie. That means that she is the aunt of one of the girls' grandmas or grandfathers. Sarah and I love Aunt Flossie's house. It is crowded full of stuff and things, books and pictures and lamps and pillows, plates and trays and old dried flowers, and boxes and boxes and boxes of hats. Wow. It is crowded full of stuff. That means it's packed full. There's lots of fun things for them to look at. So we've already learned that these little girls are visiting someone in their family, and it sounds like they do it every Sunday. On Sunday afternoons, when Sarah and I go to see Aunt Flossie, she says, "Come in, Susan. Come in, Sarah. Have some tea. Have some cookies. Later, we can get crab cakes." Ooh, that sounds like a nice visit to have every weekend. I'm wondering if you do anything special on the weekends or you spend any special time with your family, like this family. It sounds like they like to have tea and cookies and maybe crab cakes. We sip our tea and eat our cookies, and then Aunt Flossie lets us look in her hat boxes. We pick out hats and try them on. Aunt Flossie says they are her memories, and each hat has its story. These hats must be very special to her if she keeps each one in a different box. I wonder what she means by Aunt Flossie says they are her memories and each hat has a story. Hats, 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 hats. A stiff black one with bright red buttons. A soft brown one with silver buttons. Thin floppy hats that hide our eyes. I'm hearing she has lots of different hats, different colors, different styles, green or blue or pink or purple. Some have fur and some have feathers. Look, this hat is just one smooth, soft rose. But here's one with 1,000,000,000,000 flowers. Aunt Flossie has so many hats. If you look carefully, she keeps them in these boxes. They must protect the hats, so I bet there's something special to Aunt Flossie. One Sunday afternoon, I picked out a woolly winter hat, sort of a green maybe. Aunt Flossie thought a moment. Aunt Flossie always thinks a minute before she starts a hat story. Then she sniffed the woolly hat. She smelled it. "Just a little smoky smell now," she said. Sarah and I sniffed the hat too. "Smoky smell, Aunt Flossie?" It seems like Aunt Flossie is thinking before she tells a story. Earlier, she said the hats are her memories. I bet she's thinking about when she wore that hat. "The big fire," Aunt Flossie said. "The big fire in Baltimore. Everything smelled of smoke for miles around for days and days. Big fire. Didn't come near our house on Center Street, but we could hear the fire engines racing down St. Paul. Oh, look, there's Flossie. She's wearing that hat, and she's a little girl. She must have had that hat a long time. This is so long ago that look at the fire truck. It was pulled by a horse. That's another clue that tells me she's been wearing this hat for a long time. Bells, whistles. Your great grandma and I couldn't sleep. We grabbed our coats and hats and ran outside. Worried about Uncle Jimmy's grocery store. Worried about the terrapins and the crabs. Big fire in Baltimore. So I'm noticing that these two little girls are going to visit their great great Aunt Flossie, and they like to look at her hats. Each hat tells her a story about when she wore it. It helps her remember important times in her life. It sounds like this is a tradition that this family has, or something special that they do together. I'm wondering if there's anything special that you do with your family. Today, after this slide, there's going to be a place for you to leave a video. I want you to tell me about something special that you do with your family. Then tomorrow we'll finish the rest of this book.